how to construct triangles. We'll try to go through some important points with regard to triangles. Children, we have already learnt about the classification of triangles. You know how triangles are classified based on sides or angles, and the following important properties concerning triangles. Now, properties of triangles. The exterior angle of a triangle is equal in measure to the sum of interior opposite angles. The other property what we learned was the total measure of the three angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, which is also called as angle sum property. The next one, sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. In any right angle triangle, the square of the length of hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the length of the other two sides. This is also called as Pythagoras theorem. Now, later in the chapter on congruence of triangles, we saw that a triangle can be constructed if any one of the following sets of measurements are given. That is, if three sides are given, then we will have, we can name it as SSS postulate or SSS criterion. Two sides and an angle between them, which is noted as SAS criterion. Two angles and the side between them, which is ASA postulate or ASA criterion, and the hypotenuse and a leg in the case of a right angle triangle, which is called as RHS criterion. Now, knowing all this, we will try to construct or we'll try to attempt to use these ideas to construct triangles. To start off, the first one, constructing a triangle when the lengths of its three sides are known. That is, all three sides S, S and S. Children, if you can observe, the three sides are denoted as S, S, S in SSS criterion. Now, we'll take up an example and then try to construct. Construct triangle XYZ in which XY is equal to 4.5 centimeters, YZ is equal to 5 centimeters and ZX is equal to 6 centimeters. Now, children, while constructing, you need to have an idea as to how the construction will actually happen. So, we will just have a rough diagram drawn. Children, note that it's always better to have a rough diagram drawn before the actual construction is done, so that you will have an idea how the diagram will actually come up as. So, the steps of construction. We'll just carry out the construction as per these steps. Now, we will have a rough diagram drawn so that we have an idea as to how the triangle might shape up as. So, if this is XYZ triangle, we have got XY as 4.5, then YZ as 5 centimeters and ZX as 6 centimeters. We have had a rough diagram like this. Now, to start off with the construction, the first step would be draw a line segment YZ. We will start with the baseline YZ of length 5 centimeters. So, we are drawing a line segment of 5 centimeters. We will actually name it. Then, with Y as center, draw an arc of radius 4.5 centimeters. Children, if you observe in the rough diagram, we have had XY is equal to 4.5, correct? So, 4.5 centimeters, we'll have to draw an arc keeping Y as center. First, we will take the measurement of 4.5 We'll just keep it here and try to adjust. Children, I'm repeating once again, this is just a digital drawing. I might not be very accurate. When you draw it by hand, you need to see to it that the exact measurement is taken. So I've taken 4.5 measurement, then keeping Y as center, then I'll just draw an arc. Now from Z, with Z as center, we will have to draw an arc of radius, yes, 6 centimeters, because XZ is equal to 6 centimeters. So again, we'll just take the measurement. You need to keep the pointed tip exactly at 0, and the other pencil tip, see to it that it is on 6. So this measures 6 centimeters. Now I'll lock it. So with Z as center, draw an arc of radius 6 centimeters. So we've got a point of intersection. Mark the point of intersection of arcs as X. Now we'll have to join XY and XZ. Now join XY, XZ. Now therefore XYZ triangle is constructed. So we'll just finish the labeling here. This is 4.5 centimeters. This is 6 centimeters. I hope all of you got it, children. Now we'll just write down the steps of construction as to how we constructed there. We first drew a line segment YZ of length 5 centimeters with Y as center. We drew an arc of radius 4.5 centimeters. Then with Z as center, we drew another arc of radius 6 centimeters. Now we got a point of intersection and we marked it as X. Now later on we joined XY and XZ, and finally we got the triangle XYZ. We'll try another one which is similar to this. Children, I expect all of you to start the construction or do the construction along with me so that you understand it in a better manner. Now for the second problem, construct triangle ABC such that AB is equal to 2.5 centimeters, then BC is equal to 6 centimeters and AC is equal to 6.5 centimeters. Then another task is measure angle B. We need to measure this angle. Okay. Now for the construction. Now as we did it in the previous problem, before we start the construction, we'll just have a rough diagram drawn. Now assuming that the triangle would be of this shape. Children, usually rough diagrams might not be the same as the actual diagram, but somewhat similar to it, so that you know the placing of each side and angle. That is the reason we actually have a rough diagram drawn. So this might be the figure might look, or the triangle might look like this after construction. This is our imagination. So to start off construction, the first step would be draw a line segment BC, that is the base line which we have taken. So BC would be 6 centimeters. So I'll just draw 6 centimeters. So this I'll name it as B, and C, which is 6 centimeters. Now for the next step, with B as center, we'll have to draw an arc of 2.5 centimeters. So with B as, okay, we'll just take the measurement 2.5 centimeters. With B as center, we'll try to draw an arc of radius 2.5 centimeters. Now with C as center, draw an arc of radius, which is the other side, 6.5 centimeters. So we'll take the measurement again. We need to measure 6.5 centimeters. We'll keep C as center and draw an arc. So we've got a point of intersection. This point of intersection is to be marked as, what do we have? BC we have already. It has to be marked as A. So this becomes A. We'll have to join AB and AC. We'll join AB and AC. We have joined AB and AC. We will just mark them, and if you can see, triangle ABC is already constructed. We'll just mark the side. This is 6.5. Now they have asked us to measure what would be the angle B. What would be the measurement of angle B? Now if you just see, adjust the protractor. Children, see the point A, the point of intersection A is exactly at 90 degree, correct? This is the 90 degree line and it is exactly 90 degree. So this angle what we have is 90 degree. This is what is being asked to measure and find. I hope all of you understood, children. Now children, we have listed out the steps of construction, whatever we did just now. We have even found out the angle B, which is 90 degrees. I hope all of you understood, children. Now this was constructing a triangle when the lengths of all the three sides of a triangle is given. Moving on to the next set, which would be constructing a triangle when the lengths of two sides and the measure of an angle between them are known. That is SAS criterion. Children, understand this S is for one side, the other S is for another side, and the A in between these two S is angle, the angle between these two sides. So how to construct according to SAS criterion? The first problem given, construct triangle DEF such that DE is equal to 5 centimeters, DF is equal to 3 centimeters, and angle D is equal to 90 degrees. This is the rough diagram which we have tried to draw. Moving on to the construction. Now before starting with the steps of construction, we'll have a rough diagram drawn. Since we know that the angle has, the triangle has 190 degree, we can very easily imagine that it would be a right angled triangle. Yes, children? So we will just try to form a right angle triangle. As I said, it is just a rough diagram, doesn't have to be exactly of the same measurement. So this would be DEF. Okay, we can have a point here, X. Okay, now to start with the construction, the first step would be Children, I hope all of you are doing it along with me. Draw a line segment DE of length 5 centimeters. So we will have a line segment drawn of 5 centimeters. We'll name them D and E. This is 5 centimeters. Then we will have to draw or construct 90 degrees. So with D as center, okay, we'll just take this protractor here at exactly its D. See if the baseline of the protractor is coinciding with the baseline what you have drawn now, DE. Okay, keeping D as center. At D, we need to draw DX, making 90 degree. This is the point at which they form 90 degree. So I'll just join or have a line segment drawn. We'll have a line segment drawn. Now the line is just 3 centimeters. So we'll just take a measurement of 3 centimeters. And at D, with 3 centimeters radius, we'll draw an arc. Now this arc would cut DX at the point. We'll name this as F. Now we'll have to join F and E. Now we have joined FE. Hence triangle DEF is constructed. I hope all of you have understood, children. Now the steps of construction have been listed out as we did it earlier. I hope all of you have understood. Moving on to constructing a similar kind of construction, similar type of triangle. Construct an isosceles triangle in which the lengths of each of its equal sides is 6.5 centimeters and the angle between them is 110 degree. Now if you know that they have mentioned in the problem that it is an isosceles triangle. Children, isosceles triangle is a kind of triangle wherein two sides are equal. So here the two sides which are equal they have a measurement of 6.5 centimeters each. So we will just try to have a rough diagram drawn. So this is the rough diagram which the constructed triangle would look like. The angle between the two sides, these are the two sides, and the angle between the two sides is 110 degrees. So moving on to the construction. Before we start the construction, we'll have a rough diagram drawn. It's P, Q and R, and the angle between two sides is 110 degrees. So these two sides are 6.5 centimeters each. Now to start with the construction, we'll have to draw a line segment QR of length 6.5 centimeters. Now at Q, we'll have to draw QX, making an angle 110 degrees. Now with the help of protractor, we'll have to have the construction done. We'll have to have 110 degrees marked. Children, observe that QR is the baseline. 110 degrees is nothing but obtuse angle. So since QR is the baseline, we'll have to start with 0 and go till 90. Then after 90, 100, 110. So the second line of measurement is what we observe. Then I'll mark it at 110 degrees here. We'll have to join these two lines. Since I don't know exactly how much to measure at first, I will just draw a line segment or a ray if I can draw that. I'll have a construction of a ray done here. So this I would just name it as X. Now I know that it is an isosceles triangle and two sides which is adjacent to the angle 110 degrees is 6.5 centimeters. So keeping Q as center and a radius of 6.5 centimeters, I'll have to mark an arc here. So this is 6.5. Now I'll have to keep it at Q and have an arc drawn. So this length would be 6.5 centimeters and this point would be P. Did you understand, children? Now this is actually cutting QX at P. Now we'll have to join PR. Now after joining PR, triangle PQR is constructed. I hope all of you have understood, children. Now as usual, we'll list out the steps of construction. We first drew the line segment QR of length 6.5 centimeters. Then at Q we drew an angle. We constructed an angle using protractor 110 degrees. Then with Q as center, we drew an arc of radius 6.5 centimeters. Children observe that this is an isosceles triangle. Hence, we are having two sides which are of equal length. Then this cuts QX at P. We joined PR. Triangle PQR is constructed. Now moving on. To the next set, constructing a triangle when the measures of two of its angles and the length of the side included between them is given. Another name given to this is ASA criterion. So the first problem under this, construct triangle ABC given angle A is equal to 60 degree, angle B is equal to 30 degree and AB is equal to 5.8 centimeters. As usual, we have drawn a rough diagram. Moving on to the construction. Now to start with the construction, the first step would be drawing a rough diagram. It's a triangle which has two angles and a side. It would look somewhat like this. Now for the construction, draw a line segment AB of length 5.8 centimeters. Now the second step would be at A, draw a ray AP making an angle of 60 degree with AB. Okay, we'll have to mark 60 degree. For that, we'll consider this as baseline. AB is the baseline. Keeping the center of the protractor at A, we'll have to mark 60 degree. Then we will join this. Let this be P. And this angle, what we have measured is 60 degree. Yes, children, 60 degree is an acute angle. Now at B, we'll have to draw another ray. Let's name it as BQ, making an angle of 30 degree with BA. So the same procedure, we'll just shift the center to B. So baseline will remain AB only, but the center would be B. And we'll have to measure 30 degrees. 30 degree comes here. We'll name this as BQ. Now this point of intersection would be named as C. Hence ABC is constructed. This angle would be 30 degree, which we have measured and constructed. I hope all of you understood, children. We shall write down the steps of construction as we carried out just now. Draw a line AB of length 5.8 centimeters. At A, draw a ray AB making an angle 60 degrees with AB. At B, draw a ray BQ making an angle of 30 degrees with BA. Mark the point of intersection of two rays at C. Triangle ABC is now constructed. I hope all of you have understood, children. Now moving on to a similar problem. Construct triangle PQR if PQ is equal to 5 centimeters, angle PQR is equal to 105 degrees and angle QRP is equal to 40 degrees. There is a hint given. We need to recall angle sum property of a triangle and then have the construction done. Angle sum property defines that the total measure of the three angles of a triangle is 180 degree, children. I hope all of you remember that. So first we will solve and then go on for construction. By angle sum property of a triangle, angle RPQ, or we can write it as measure of angle RPQ plus measure of angle PQR plus measure of angle QRP is equal to 180 degrees. We have got two angles here, angle PQR and angle angle PQR and angle QRP is given, so we'll try to replace them. So measure of angle RPQ plus 105 degrees plus 40 degrees. 105 plus 40 is 145. Therefore, angle RPQ is equal to 180 degrees minus 145, because I am taking this 145 to the other side of the equation, so it will get a negative sign. So 180 minus 145 is nothing but 35. Therefore, measure of angle RPQ is equal to 35 degrees. Now, with this, we will just form a rough diagram. We have triangle PQR. The baseline PQ is 5 centimeters, which is given, and angle Q105 is given 40 degrees. Angle R or QRP is also given, so 40 is here. Then 35 is what we calculated just now, so 35 is angle P. We shall start the construction now. Now, before the construction, we'll have a rough diagram drawn. We'll name it as PQR. This is 105 degrees given, 40 degrees given, and 5 centimeter is given. Now, what we calculated was this one, which is 35 degrees. We'll try to construct that now. To start, the first step would be draw PQ is equal to 5 centimeter length. So draw PQ of length 5 centimeter would be the first step. At Q, draw a ray QX making an angle of 105 degrees, 105 degrees with QP. Keeping the center at Q, we will have to mark 105 degrees. Children, observe that I am going from left to right now. So the first row, that is topmost row, is to be considered, so which goes from 0, and 105 degrees is obtuse angle. So I will go beyond 90, 100 and 105. Now I'll have to join. Now this would be QX. And the angle formed is 105 degrees. At P, draw a ray PY making an angle of 35 degrees with PQ. We have calculated that the angle P, we have calculated the value of angle P, and we have got the answer as 35 degrees. So we will construct 35 degrees at P, and we'll have to join this line. We have joined this, and this one will be labeled as Y, and the point of intersection here would be R. Now to cross verify, you can actually check if the angle R is equal to 40. Children, observe that the angle which is formed here is exactly 40 degrees. That is what is being given also. Understood now? We'll mark it as 40 degrees. I hope all of you understood. Let's move on. Now, listing the steps of construction, writing down the steps of construction as we constructed just now, we will move on to the next set of construction. Constructing a right-angled triangle when the length of one leg and its hypotenuse are given. This is also known as RHS criterion. Now let's start with an example. Construct a right-angled triangle whose hypotenuse is 6 cm long and one of the legs is 4 cm long. We have just drawn a rough diagram to start off. We'll start constructing now. Now before constructing, let's start with a rough diagram. We are supposed to construct a right-angled triangle, so we will have a right-angled triangle drawn. And this would be the right angle, that is 90 degree. And the triangle would be named as PQR. QR is 4 cm long and PR is 6 cm long. This, if we would have constructed, we would have named it as X. Okay, let's start with the construction, children. So it's QR, which is equal to 4 centimeters. So we will just have name it as QR 4 centimeters. Now at Q we'll have to draw or construct 90 degrees, correct? So we'll keep Q as center, place the protractor so that the baseline of the protractor matches or coincides with QR. So have 90° marked, then join. I will be naming it as QX perpendicular to QR. So this is a right angle which we have marked. We have drawn QX perpendicular to QR. The second step is over. Then for the third step, with R as center, draw an arc of radius 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters is what we are supposed to take the measurement as. So keeping it the pointed tip at 0, I will try to measure 6 centimeters. Now this measurement, I will have to keep it at R, then have an arc drawn on QX. So this point which cuts QX, we will name it as P. And we will have to join PR. Understood, children? We will have to join PR now. Now we'll have to write the measurement 6 centimeters. This completes the construction, children. I hope all of you have understood. Now for the steps of construction, write down all the steps what you have conducted just now. While constructing, we actually drew QR of length 4 centimeters. Then at Q, we drew QX perpendicular to QR. That is, we constructed an angle of 90 degrees. With R as center, we drew an arc of radius 6 centimeters. Then we actually marked the meeting point of the arc and QX as P. So hence PQR, triangle PQR is constructed. Did you all understand, children? Moving on to a similar problem. Construct an isosceles right-angled triangle ABC where angle ACB is equal to 90 degree and AC is equal to 6 centimeters. We have drawn a rough diagram here. Since it is isosceles right-angled triangle, we have two sides which are 6 centimeters and an angle which is 90 degree. Now moving on to construction, children. Before we start the construction, we will first draw a rough diagram. Let's start with the construction. The first step would be draw AC of length 6 centimeters. We will label it as A, C and 6 centimeters. Then the next step, at C, draw CX perpendicular to CA. So we will just have the protractor placed on the baseline AC with C as center and construct 90 degrees, that is CX becomes perpendicular. We'll try to join these 2 points. CX perpendicular to CA. Now for the next step, with C as center, draw an arc of radius 6 centimeter to intersect CX at B. We'll take a measurement of 6 centimeters, keeping the pointed tip at 0 and extending the pencil tip till 6 centimeters. I'll just lock it so that we don't change the measurement. Then we'll keep the pointed edge at C. Then try to mark an arc at B, that would be labeled as B. So this is 6 centimeters. Join AB. I have joined AB. Hence triangle ACB is constructed. This is 90 degrees. I hope all of you understood, children. Now for the steps of construction, what we did just now, draw AC of length 6 centimeters. We just drew a line segment AC of 6 centimeters. Then at C, we drew a perpendicular, CX perpendicular to CA. Then at C, with C as center, draw an arc of radius 6 centimeter to intersect CX at B. Join AB, hence ACB is constructed. I hope all of you have understood the construction of triangles according to different criteria. Now for the assignment, children. These assignments are consolidated from exercises 10.2 to 10.5. Try to work out all by yourself. The answers will be provided in the PDF attached along with the video. Now in your exercise 10.5, you also have another exercise attached to what we have dealt. Under the heading miscellaneous questions, try experimenting that or try solving that, because it has different triangles given, different measurements given, and you need to first check whether you can construct a triangle with those measurements, and then try if you can construct with those measurements. Have the construction done. With this, we complete the chapter Practical Geometry. I hope all of you